Is it a life sentence? I struggle with alcohol. Hello, gals, and welcome to Sanctuary Saturday, a segment of sobriety snippets. There's those S's again. For women in their first year of sobriety, and for women who are about to be in their first year of sobriety. Don't forget, gals, even if you drank yesterday, you're in your first year. Okay, let's get to it. Today, I wanted to share with you a rhythm to sobriety that if you don't experience it, you're missing out. So the first thing, though, to ask yourself is once you got a problem with alcohol, you realize you have a problem with alcohol, you struggle, you eventually get sober, is like, are you carrying around, do we carry around for the rest of our lives this not only label, but this thing about, I'm one of those people who can't drink, and it comes up and it's an issue and it's always there and it's always coming up, and do we have to talk about it for the rest of our lives? I told a story, probably told it more than once, about one of the things that annoyed me a lot when I first got sent over to meetings. And let me tell you, that was in the 80s, okay? When I first got sent over to meetings, and I walk in the door, and invariably some person would walk up to me, very friendly, loving people, very amazing people, and shake my hand and say hello and tell me they've been sober for 20 or 30 years. It's like I wanted to kill myself. It's like, are you telling me that 30 years from now, I'm going to be standing in the church basement welcoming other, like, when does it end? When does it end? When do I get to just not have the label? When do I get to just be human and not drink? Well, I'm here to tell you now. It's over. If you've given up alcohol for enough, let's say, yes, the first year, I agree that the first year is difficult. I really do. But as that first year winds up and you start moving on, just get on with your life. Forget about it. Alcohol, sure, it's out there in our society. But I live in the same society as you do. And you might think, here's something you probably don't know about me. I never talk about alcohol, except here with you and with my clients, because it's what I do. I mean, I've chosen to give up my career as an English professor and come here online and do this and do the blah, 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 right? So it sounds like I'm always talking about it, but I'm not. I never talk about it. It just doesn't come up. It bores the hell out of me in my everyday life. What do I care if you're drinking and they're not drinking? It's just not an issue. It's a non-issue. I don't worry about driving past liquor stores. It's just not there. The fact that 8 years ago, I finally hit some sort of bottom and gave up alcohol. I mean, if somebody approaches me and says, I understand that and somebody asks me a question, sure, I'm going to answer them, but no. In fact, if I were to give up coaching and podcasting today, I'd probably never talk about it again, because it really does bore me in terms of everyday life. And for those of you who don't have this as a career like I do, you give it up, forget about it, unless you're choosing to help others and they ask you questions. Of course, we want to step up and be helpful, but you can let it go. This label or whatever thing is that you think you're carrying around for the rest of your life, I think what I'm really trying to say here is that because recovery or the journey to real and true freedom takes months and even up to a year, as we say, we end up getting so attached to it that we keep dragging it around with us. I would say to you that after that first year, as soon as you feel ready, cut the cord, baby. Like, cut the cord, let it go, and forget you ever had a problem with alcohol. I don't mean start drinking. I mean, just forget about it. Who cares? It becomes a non-issue and frankly quite, boring. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh no, if I'm an alcoholic, I'm going to be calling myself that for the rest of my life, and it's going to be it's the thing. No, I totally and completely disagree with that. You absolutely know, if you've been listening to me for any length of time, that I believe we need help, and I believe we need to go through a beautiful recovery process, which is so exciting and so beautiful when we do it with the right people and we do it with an open heart. And it's an amazing experience because we learn how to grow. We learn how to release on negative emotions. We learn who we are. We learn how to approach life from a totally different perspective, right? That's exciting. And the process is very freeing and very beautiful. But it ain't forever. It's like, come on, let it go. Give it up. I'm so tired of hearing about it. And that was one of the things that really why I couldn't keep going to 12-step meetings. Half the people in the room have been going to those meetings for 20 years or more, even 10 years, even 5. It's like, when does it end? All right, I got to admit, I think one of the reasons they keep going is they've built some real, honest, and deep relationships with each other. And what's wrong with that? Like, if all your friends, all your besties are also former alcoholics, then that's your circle of friends. And actually, what's wrong with that? But here's another thing I noticed. It's like that's the topic of conversation, though. Okay, so if you end up with a bunch of friends who are also non-drinkers because they had a problem with alcohol, can't you talk about something other than alcohol? Hopefully you can. I would argue you should. Now, in everybody's defense, let me put it this way. When I was going to those meetings, I was the one that was barely sober. I did not have a year of sobriety. I was in early sobriety, and that's why everybody talked to me about booze, because I was struggling so hard. I've never experienced that. I've never experienced what it's like to go for 5 years and see what it's like to... So I don't know. But my real point here, my real message to you today, if you're in your first year of sobriety, don't expect that you're going to have to walk around for the rest of your life talking about booze and listening to podcasts and reading Quit Lit. It's over, babe. You can shut the book on it after that first year. I honestly believe that. Unless you haven't healed, unless you've simply stopped drinking. Lots of people put down the booze for a year, 2 years, and they're still absolutely miserable. If that's you, you haven't healed and you are going to keep struggling. In fact, one of my clients who I spoke with recently, shared with me that in 2008 until 2021, that's 13 years, she didn't drink. And she said it was the most miserable years of her life. And in fact, I don't want to give away too much of her story because she shared it here on the snippets and I'm going to be publishing that episode soon. But here's the thing about that. 13 years of sobriety and it was miserable. So here's the caveat. If you're just not drinking and holding on for dear life, then it's going to go on and on and on and on and on. And you're not going to be able to let go like I'm saying here. What I'm saying doesn't apply. It only applies if you've spent that first year healing, growing, learning how to handle your emotions and feel them and all of the amazing things that we learn and do here in recovery. I would argue that if you're doing that fully and completely after that first year, if you want to, you can just sort of let go of it. You don't have to talk about booze. You don't have to unless you want to because you're helping others or because it appeals to you or whatever. But if you're feeling like, oh, well, looks like the rest of my life, it's going to be a topic of conversation, I'm here to tell you no. Commit to 1 year of healing and then let go. That's what I'm here to tell you today, gals. And I hope that makes you excited because I'll say it one more time. If I wasn't doing this for a living, I wouldn't even talk about alcohol. It's just not that interesting to me. Like, I got other things I want to think about in my life. And I've done that first year of sobriety. I've done the healing. I'm still growing. I still have a coach. He's not a sobriety coach. It's a life coach. And I don't talk about alcohol. So there it is. I hope that's exciting. It really should be. It should excite you to think, oh, awesome. So I get to learn how to grow for 1 year and then I get to move on to something else. Greener pastures and let this whole thing go. Yes, that's what I'm here to say. Gals, you may have heard yesterday the Sacred Mirror is temporarily closed. We're taking a little break just to allow me to catch up on some of my reflections. But what is the Sacred Mirror? It's an amazing, amazing little experience that I allow you to come through. You simply answer 3 little questions online in an online form and share a bit of your story with me. Just a bit, paragraph or 2. And I respond by turning on my microphone and reflecting what I'm hearing. It's not advice. It's a reflection. It's a reflection for you. And it's so amazing. I really love it because I'm getting to know you deeper. And if that sounds amazing to you, don't worry. I'll open it up again here very soon. But for now, no sacred mirror available today. Instead, go out there and enjoy your first year of sobriety. See you on Monday. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.